Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome back to this week's Evergreen Marketing Live. We're going to be talking about follow-up today and how to not let deals slip through the cracks. I got Carlos on. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Excited to see you. We're
Yeah,
hitting the road. We're getting in front of some people this week, man.
we are,
We're
man.
speaking at some meetups, some RIAs.
Yeah, what did you get to do this week?
I talked at the Sub 2 Broward Miami event on Tuesday night, hosted by Esteban Andrade and Israel Miller, two big guys in the Sub 2 community here in Miami. Was awesome to see some Carrot members there, Alex Shaw, a bunch of people, and was really talking about which is exciting as you might imagine. We're going to talk about some of the stuff today on the podcast, but man, it's just always good to see people out in the field, hear what they have going on. Real estate's always changing, marketing's always changing. So
Yeah.
that's like the purest form of getting a pulse on what's going on in the industry, actually going in there, chopping it up, having conversations, which was awesome.
That's really cool, man. It sounds like it was a good event. I saw there was another one in our neck of the woods I saw happen somewhere on social this week. How many of those meetups is Pace doing across the US?
Dude, apparently a lot, as you might imagine. He may need you to wear a sub 2 hat and then you go and like dummy because you guys look similar enough
That's actually my
just to
side
cover some more
hustle.
ground. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I pay my bills. Is I'm pays more every second. I just go out and do meetups. Yeah,
I love that.
they
I
pay me
love that.
directly. It's great. It's fantastic.
That's good. But I'm,
Yeah,
I'm excited, man. We're going to talk about today, but it's really a way that you guys can utilize your carrot sites, how you guys have built trust and credibility online, really leveraging that as a sales tool to help you convert more leads once they're already in your CRM. So I was pumped up talking about it this week, and we'll be pumped to jam on it today with you guys.
yeah. It's super easy. It's not complicated. And the cool thing is,
Mm-hmm.
like, this is. I mean, the whole point of this show is like evergreen marketing. These are the things you do, the foundational work you do today, that pays dividends over the long term. Like set
Mm-hmm.
it up, and it's gonna go to work for you. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. But yeah, let's dive into it. Let's roll the intro and let's talk about follow up here. It's gonna be good.
Cool.
Doesn't have to be a time suck, and it shouldn't, because we know that speed to lead, that's getting a hold of these motivated sellers as soon as they fill out that form on your website, it's critical to losing deals to other investors, other websites they might be surfing on. So the solution, what we're going to be talking about today, is automated and personal, because you can do both at the same time. Automated personal messages that go out to your leads so that none of these leads fall through the cracks. Okay. So Carlos and I are on the show today. We're going to be talking about why this is critical, talk about it, show you how to do it all inside Carrot CRM, how to make it super easy. Okay. If you're new with us, welcome back. Welcome to the show. This is Evergreen Marketing Live by Carrot.com. This is where every week we teach you marketing tactics and advice to help you master your marketing so that you can build a business of freedom and impact, really a sustainable business. If you're with us live right now, pop your questions in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. The whole point of this is to make it interactive. If you're listening to the audio podcast or you're watching this video after the fact, not live, join us every single week at 11 a.m. in the Facebook group at community.carrot.com. And after this kind of conversation Carlos and I have, we're going to do an interactive kind of Q&A, do a little bit of screen share, and get a little bit more into the weeds and answer your guys' questions live. So it's a great touch point, whether you're a Carrot member or not, you're just an investor out there. We'd love to help you out. So let's talk about this, Carlos. Follow up. I'm curious, man. Follow up in your perspective. I mean, you live in follow up land. You came from Investor Fees, Carrot CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Is follow up underappreciated, or is it not talked about enough, or do people feel like they have a good sense about it?
That's a good question, man. I think the time and industries have changed. Like a lot of people that have been in the space for a while, they hear that phrase, the fortunes in the follow up. So I do think it gets a lot of love and attention. I think that we make it with Carrot CRM really easy to actually execute on that phrase, the fortunes in the follow up. There
Yeah.
are some people that we know as well, like RJ Bates. I'm a massive fan of his content is really good lately, and he focuses on getting inbound quality leads. So those, as more of a sales pitch, he tries to close them either on one call or a couple calls. Follow up's still important, guys. No matter, even if studs like RJ are saying you can close them on one deal. So I do think it gets the proper light. What I'm passionate about is we make it really simple to do that. Provide really good support and training to make sure you guys are dialed in on doing that as well.
Nice. That's good to hear. It's funny. I'll talk to some investors and they're like, well, I called them and they didn't pick up. Or like, I called them a couple
Mhm.
times, but I don't know. It didn't work out. And I'm like, oh man, there's so many. We were
Mhm.
talking about before we went live. It's still an average of about 7 or 8 touch points you need to get a deal with someone.
Minimum, yeah. Yeah,
Minimum.
minimum for sure. And I think I'm laughing because people probably think they're doing good follow up, but then when you bring that up, the minimum you need to touch them 7, 8 times minimum on average to get a deal, then they realize, oh, wow, I'm actually not doing a great job with follow up, or how fast am I talking to these leads when they first come in? So that's probably a better
Yeah.
way of thinking about it.
Yeah, so I kind of want to let's set the stage for this, and then we'll get into the weeds on like what you actually need to be saying, when you need to be saying it. To me, man, a couple key things are one, it's really one, speed to lead, and two, being helpful. So one,
Mhm.
like we've talked about before, speed to lead is key. Like you got to
Yeah.
be within a few minutes at least. But some of these investors are hitting them up within 30 seconds or
Mhm.
on the phone within a minute or two. Like that's fast, especially
Mhm.
for inbound leads. Like if they're coming through PPC. You have any thoughts on that?
100%. I mean, I'm totally in agreement with you. We've brushed on it on other episodes, conversations before. I mean, don't especially don't do paid ads if you're not in that position. If you don't have the tech, the CRM in place where they're getting automatic leads, I kind of refer to that as almost like taking out an insurance policy on your inbound marketing. If you
Hmm.
don't have the tech set up where they're getting automatic texts and emails personalized with their first name, and if you don't have somebody on your team that can call them at latest 5 minutes, you probably shouldn't be investing in the inbound marketing, the paid inbound marketing at least. So
Yeah.
crucial, mandatory.
That's a good point. So anyone
Mhm.
listening, I've had so many conversations over the years. Someone's like, "Yeah, I tried PPC. I spent X amount of dollars, spent thousands in my market. It didn't really work out."
Mhm.
That should probably be the first question: is like, what was your follow up like,
Mhm.
even before looking at any of the messaging,
Yeah.
targeting. It's interesting. Um, so the second thing, I don't know, my kind of approach to marketing is I like to be the most helpful,
Mhm.
not the loudest. And I think this matters for follow up too. And I think for follow up, people can easily think, oh, I just need to get a hold of someone a bunch of times. I just need to remind them. I just need to bug them. I just need to get in their ear. And there is truth to that. Like you do need more touch points. You do need to prevail over the other people, but
Mhm.
it's not necessarily an arms race. In my
Right.
mind, I think the most helpful person wins. And
Mhm.
so that's kind of what we're going to be talking through is in these follow-up sequences or drip campaigns, whatever you want to call them. How can you show people that you're the solution for them, that you can actually help them? Hey,
Mhm.
I can actually solve your problem versus, trying to lock in a deal. Um,
Mhm.
so Carlos, we're going to be talking about two different campaigns or two different things you need to set up in a CRM. What's the first one?
Yeah, so two different general things that you want to set up. We are going to talk about the auto responses that we're talking about for the inbound leads when they come in, making sure that seller just gets an immediate text and email. And one cool thing this helps eliminate, guys, is the feeling of buyer's remorse. When a seller goes on your website, they may be in like in a distressed situation most of the time. They send their info. They're probably telling you maybe some personal information, the reason why they're selling stuff like that. That helps eliminate what's called buyer's remorse. Like potentially feeling like, oh man, am I working with the right person? Is this the right solution for me? That's like an amazing automated high point of leverage thing that you can get set up. The other thing we're going to talk about sequence wise, we do hook you guys up inside Carrot CRM with some default sequence templates just so you're not working from scratch. But we're going to touch on two. One is going to be called a can't reach sequence. That lead comes in. For those of you guys who've been working inbound leads, you probably are familiar. Like it's just hard getting a hold of these folks sometimes. So we're going to hook you up with some can't reach sequences, which the standard is going to be about 98 days of text messages, 8 different text messages just to try to get them to re-engage with you. And the other one's more of a long-term sequence. And that's what I think we want to focus on today. And that's what I spoke about this week at the Sub 2 meetup is a lot of you guys have amazing sites that you should be absolutely leveraging for your acquisitions team, especially in an automated fashion with the sequence, where you can just provide information on your company, build trust and credibility with them, which is, I'm getting fired up just thinking about it, but that's what we're
Yeah.
going to be focused on today.
People aren't leveraging enough. It's funny. That's what you were talking about at Sub 2 this week.
Yeah.
I'm headed up to Portland tonight to give a talk about how to glue all your marketing together. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really like having all your offline trickle back up to your online and
Mm-hmm.
in your following up, getting people back to the website or sending them the most helpful content on your website to
Yeah.
answer this question. It's that whole idea of making a lead predisposed to work with you before you even get on the phone. before you even get in the weeds of doing a deal. You want leads that are predisposed, not that you have to spend twice as much time, trying to convince. It's interesting.
Totally. Can I make a comment on the
Yeah.
post that what you said earlier about like it's not just about bombarding these people with the amount of
Yeah.
touches and stuff like that? There's a lot of truth in that. It's not a numbers game. However, speaking with sellers and like following up, closing deals, a lot of the times it is hitting them at the right time with the right message. So by law of large numbers, if you're speaking to them and sending out a lot of messages, they probably will see your message. But is it the right message at the right time? Are you providing actually like a solution, education, and convincing them that you're the company that should be working for? So that's why building in trust, credibility, funneling the phone conversations, and what we're going to show today, the sequences back to your site, helps you make the seller make that decision that you're the right person to work with.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's kind of talk about what you want. I'm curious, what are the best auto responses you've seen after someone fills out a form on your website? So let me kind of break this down in its most simplest form. So here's what we're talking about. Motivated seller, potential house seller goes to Google and they're searching how to sell my house fast. They land Carlos on your website, and maybe they're looking at the website a little bit and they're like, yeah, it'd be nice to get a cash offer on my house. They fill out the form on your website, hit submit, send in their info. And then as soon as they fill in their info, Carrot's going to send them a notification, which Carrot, by default, you can send an email to a lead when this happens. But the beauty of Carrot CRM, of having an actual CRM, is that you can send them a text message as well. So you've got double the amount of follow-up, and you can put them into a series or a sequence of emails and text messages, which is what we're talking about. And so a seller has filled out the form on your website. What does the auto responder look like? What do you recommend that people need to fire out to that seller just to let them know that you're going to be in touch? So in case you can't get to that lead in time, that's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, man, that's a great question. In general, I don't like to overcomplicate things. A couple things that you can do to make sure it's personalized and stand out and improve your response rates. You're able to pull in custom fields from anything that comes in on that form. So typically, general rule of thumb, best practice, you want to pull the person's first name, the seller's first name. So if it's John Smith that goes on your website, fills out a form, hey, John, let them know who you are. It's your preference if you want to say a first name, if you have someone doing lead intake for that lead source, like a Carrot website, for example. So you could say, going with the same thread here, hey, John, this is Carlos. I just saw your information come in online. Wanted to let you know I'm going to give you a call as soon as I take a look at your property. You can funnel them back to the site. I typically like to do that on the email. That's right after that. The text is just eliminating that buyer's remorse. Let them know that you got their email or their information, just more of a confirmation. So high points to hit there. Address them by their first name. Let them know who you are. You're going to take a look at their property and give them a call, because Carrot CRM, we emphasize manual follow-up as well. So I would say those three things. The email that you can program that goes 2 minutes after that, that's where I would funnel them to something on the Carrot site, and that's where you could get a little creative. Some people like to put a scheduling link in there, something like calendly.com. That's a great resource for you guys. I'm sure some of you guys are utilizing that, but if you want to link that, you can have them like schedule a call with you. But the Carrot site we're going to talk through, and we have a few examples of some pulled up. There's a lot of great resources that you could send them to on the auto response as well.
So I'm glad you talked through that, and I'm glad you mention their first name and just make it as human as possible. I think so. That's probably one of the best versions of it. I think the worst versions is, thanks for submitting your info. We'll be in touch.
Yeah.
It's like just like the most generic stale thing. We're all used to seeing that after a form or doing that. It's like,
well, dude, I added one, and I'll show it on the screen share, but one little element of wrinkle I didn't add on there. And this is where we're really splitting hair, guys, but we like to give you this personalization in your messaging. You can also put in a custom minute delay just so it's not simultaneous. So if you want to have Carrot CRM wait 2 minutes before it shoots off a text, you can do that too. So you can customize the minute delay in there, which is nice. Some people just put 0 and it's just straight simultaneous. The lead's information comes in, they get a text message right away. You want to wait 2-3 minutes, you can do that as well.
Yeah, I feel like having a 30-second, like 1 minute delay would feel a little more natural, a little bit more believable. Like, okay, they're going to get in touch with me versus I think people are used to autoresponders, which is why we're talking about, like, you got to make it human. I don't think there's anything wrong with being automated and having that human element to it, because you wrote it, and hopefully you should mean what you're saying in these automated responses. Okay, so that's the first thing, having the autoresponder. Let's talk about this what this sequence looks like, or drip campaign. And guys, if this is going over your head, if you're a little lost, all we're talking about is, a lead came to your website, they submitted their info, and we are automating, staying top of mind. We're sending them emails, we're sending them text messages, and just staying in touch, either to supplement the outreach that you're doing, or if you can't get a hold of them. Let's say you're working a full-time job, and a lot of you guys are working a W-2, and maybe you can't get a hold of people during the day. Maybe you're in a meeting, or maybe you're on vacation. Maybe it's the weekend, or maybe you have somebody else in another time zone doing your follow-up. It's like Carlos said, it's the insurance. So we're just automating, staying top of mind for sellers. What's the second sequence look like when you haven't been able to get a hold of someone on the phone?
Yeah, so I think me and you kind of lean towards this preference or this way of thinking. I like have something set up, and this is on the free version, the free Carrot CRM text and email drip campaigns, which is phenomenal value for a free CRM, especially. I think Brady and I lean more towards just being educational and trying to be as helpful as possible for the seller. So I love the idea of just having a general long-term follow-up in place, and you're just following them to different pages on your Carrot website, which will be able to show some example sites. But just for you guys listening, that could be something as simple as a testimonial page. The copy would be something like, hey, John, we spoke a few months ago. I know you're looking to sell your house. Just in case you wanted to hear what other homeowners have said about working with our company, I just want to direct you to this page on our site, however you want to word that. Just as you're making your decision, always feel free to reach out. Carlos, for example. Yeah. There's going to be some folks that, I've seen a lot of great people that have like an ebook, like focusing on something super specific, like working with probate properties in Forsyth County, North Carolina, for example. If you have a lead that comes there, hey, John, we spoke a few months back. I know it's a hard time to sell a property when, you're dealing with a family member passing. I have this ebook that I released a few years back. I wanted to send it your way just so you could take a look and see what the process looks like, making sure you get into a new property, making sure if you're splitting it with heirs or brothers, sisters, whatever, everybody gets paid out, has great service. You can do a lot of things like that that we'll take a look at about us, giving them more information. So a lot of things that you could put in there. So I'm just a fan, in short, to put those on the long-term drip campaigns with text and email.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that too. It's you're showing your credibility. You're just becoming a little bit more credible, a little more believable every step, with every email, with every text. And there's different styles too. Like this isn't a conversation about like right follow up, wrong follow up. Just like
it's
your
preference.
marketing, yeah, whatever fits you, whatever fits your brand and your style. It should feel authentic to sellers. I 100%. Think is the thing. I know 100%. Some people. I'll give Paul DeCampo a shout out. So OmniDrip. Paul DeCampo at OmniDrip. He's in our Carrot marketplace, marketplace.carrot.com. He has sequences that you can buy in the marketplace, plug them into your CRM. He's one of the best copywriters in real estate, and he's got a little bit of a different style. He'll be educational at times, and then there's some sequences or campaigns where he's asking questions. You're having open-ended texts and emails, and so there's totally different approaches, or maybe you want to mix the two. It's not right or wrong. It's just whatever's most fitting for you
100%.
At the right time. What are some good what are some good questions you've seen in follow-up campaigns, Carlos?
Ooh,
or more open-ended ones?
That's a good one. A lot of them I think have some layer of sales psychology. For those of you who've been in the industry for a while, I know there's a lot of good sales trainers out there, to name a few, like John Martinez, things like that. I think some future pacing verbiage is good in there, or wording in there. Something like, hey, just to get an idea, what would like an absolutely perfect process for selling your home look like? Or what's your ideal next living situation after you sell this property? You use some like future pacing where you're giving them a positive future outcome, and it's going to kind of get them to maybe respond a little bit more, like when they start thinking about like, oh, I actually would love to find another house before I sell this one. Getting some type of commitment from them instead of just asking, hey, are you looking for a cash offer? That's one thing I'll say. Don't just put in there, hey, are you looking for a cash offer? Hey, are you looking to get an offer on your house? That type of stuff.
Yeah. Speak to the emotion, not the technical part.
Yeah.
The situation.
Yeah. And I think Paul does a really good job just educating. I'm curious, or I'm trying to think of like questions he might ask. I think that's the general vibe that we lean towards. Paul leans towards, trying to be educational, helpful.
Yeah,
questions would be more of a sales
maybe
tactic.
I think another one I've heard is like, what's the one thing keeping you from, um, selling your house right now?
Mm-hmm.
Or is there anything keeping you from selling your house? Or, hey, you have any questions about what it's like working with a cash buyer worth an invest versus an investor?
Mm-hmm.
Questions
Right.
like that. Like, what are you got to put yourself in their shoes. Same thing with your marketing. It's like, put yourself in their shoes. What are the questions that they're asking?
Mm-hmm. No, and I'm a big fan overall of like having reflective type exercises and thinking about this and how you guys want to brand yourself as a company, how you guys want to talk to your customers, how you want to service your customers. A lot
Yeah.
of that is good, like reflective exercise, which we do. And, we are big proponents of as a company here at Carrot. So I
Yeah.
like that a lot. I think Brady and I just want to give some ideas of what you could do, but this is really a good opportunity for you guys to do like an internal exercise and think about that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's do this, man. I feel like this is a good stopping point for the podcast portion, for this audio portion. Let's kind of pause here and we'll pull up our screens, kind of show people these sequences, how to set them up.
Sure.
Just for anyone listening to the podcast or watching it after the fact, quick summary. Speed to lead matters. You need a good autoresponder. You need a fast autoresponder with good messaging. When someone fills out a form on your Carrot website, a seller, you should be sending them an email and sending them a text. And you need sequences to stay top of mind, or you need to be doing manual follow-up and trying to get a hold of them. Okay, so let's wrap there, and we're going to pull up a couple Carrot members' websites, Carrot CRM members' websites, and show you guys what you can do. Last thing I'll say, like in case you missed what Carlos said, you can do this in Carrot CRM for free.
Yeah.
You can go in right now, get a free CRM, turn on a sequence, the can't reach sequence for when you can't get a hold of someone, and plug it in and stay top of mind for leads, and then customize it as you go. So I think that's awesome. But everyone listening, watching, thanks for hanging out with us, and tune in next week. But we're going to pause for a second, and then we'll be back in to share screens and answer questions. All right, rock and roll. Let's do this, man. Let's take a look at the campaigns. If you're ready to share your screen, Carlos, I'll give you a sec to get that going, and we'll kind of show people inside Carrot CRM what a sequence looks like, how the heck it works, and then we'll kind of show a couple of websites and give people some creative ideas of what they could plug into a sequence.
Definitely. Let me pop into the autoresponders really quick, Brady. I want to show those,
Yeah.
and then we
Oh,
can
yeah,
look
yeah.
at. You hooked me up. I want you to talk me through some of these Carrot member sites
Yep.
because they're filled with great stuff to put in your text and email follow up sequences, guys. Really, really are. But let's pop into some autoresponders. So
Yeah.
just as a heads up, this feature does unlock at the scale level for Carrot CRM. Highly suggested for anybody that is inbound lead dominant. If they have a lot of inbound leads coming in, I highly, highly suggest getting the scale to unlock this one feature. But just to give a little visual context to what Brady and I were chatting about before, lead comes into your Carrot website. This is what we were talking about earlier that you could set up. So you can do a text message. You can choose if you want to do a custom minute delay or not. Brady and I said like 2-3 minutes. So I'll put 2 minutes here. And then here's where I'm sending the text message, choosing what I want to say in the text message. So I could say, hello. Again, best practice, you want to address who they are, but with Carrot CRM, you can actually pull in any custom field that you want to, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to say, this is Carlos with Awesome Home Solutions. Just got your property info. Going to give you a call. Something like that. Just something basic. And again, eliminating the buyer's remorse, addressing them by their first name, letting them know who you are. They're now going to have your number. So that's a little hack too. When you say who you are on a phone for iPhone, that's like something I do too. If I'm going to call somebody, this is a quick little game for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm going to call somebody and they don't have my number, I intentionally just say, hey, whoever it is, this is Carlos, even if it's like 5 seconds before, because the phone will pick up typically on iPhone. Instead of just giving like a suggestion or just the number itself, it will say maybe Carlos, for example, just to give you guys a little free game there.
Totally different feel than just like a big old phone number
Yeah.
of someone you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man.
It could be a difference whether someone actually reads it or not.
Preach, man. And then here's what I was mentioning earlier, the email. So here's where you could say, I would say your property. Really cool. You can just pop the opportunity address right in there. Your property. You want to send a clean subject line. I like putting my company name there. Let's say Awesome Home Solutions, I think I said. And then here's where I would come in. Hello, first name. And then we're going to pop over to these carrot sites, Brady, after this. Hey, first name. This is
this
Carlos.
is cool because you're in that subject line. I want to tune people into what you just did. You're automatically filling in their address. So this means they don't get a generic email that says, hey, your offer from Awesome Home Solutions or your free property report or whatever. It's their address is in the subject line. I'm going to click on that. I want to know what that email is.
Absolutely, man. So here I'd say, hey, first name, this is Carlos. Essentially the same thing. This is Carlos Awesome Home Solutions. You choose the flavor that you want to do. Same thing. Oh, I actually like to suit. Just shot you a text or sent you a text, depending on how formal you want to be. Just shot you a text. I'm going to give you a call. I get into the office. Now, here's where we can get a little bit cool with the autoresponders and follow-up sequences, guys. I'm going to start getting pretty fired up here. Here's where you can route them to something back on your site, or if you're somebody that likes to have sellers schedule calls with you, you can also include a Calendly link. But you're also going to be like in Carrot CRM. A beautiful thing about it is we emphasize manual follow-up as well. So you're going to be tasked with an action while these messages are shooting off or as soon as the lead's coming in. I'm going to get an action saying call new lead, pretty much saying call this person manually as fast as possible. So here's where we can get something cool where we can link them back to the site, either a testimonial site or, you know, some folks could put a, they have parts of their websites. I'm going to start clicking over these sites, Brady, but
yeah. And so I'll just pause real quick. When you say an action, you say it's giving you an action. It's basically just giving you a to-do item. It's giving you a way to say, hey, Carlos, don't forget to follow up with XYZ seller.
Exactly, man.
So that you don't have to keep track of that yourself.
Exactly, man. But what I think is probably the best use case for you guys is something on your website that just explains them how the process works. Hey, it's Carlos. Hey, John, this is Carlos with Awesome Home Solutions. I actually just shot you a text message. I'm going to give you a call as soon as I can, just in case you were curious about like how it looks like to work with us, like how our home buying process looks like. Check out this page on our site, you know, something clean like that. But let's look through these, and then we're also going to utilize these in the sequences too, guys, which is exciting. But Brady, talking about these sites, man.
Yeah, so I think I bring up Mike Wall's Carrot site as an example because I know that he's using Carrot CRM, and I like his website. It's really personal. Go to his About Us page. Let's see what's on there.
Okay, cool.
Let's check this out. So we're easy sell home buyers. Scroll down. What I'm looking for is I want to see if there's a little bit of personality. Okay, cool. So he's got a picture of the team. Looks like he's got a little bit of a bio there. Okay, keep scrolling down. We're local, we're people focused, verified cash buyer.
Nice.
Okay. Okay, sweet. Okay, so the reason I wanted to look at this page is here's kind of where my brain goes as to like how I could, build some trust with a lead that has no idea who the heck you are. You got to realize this person has no idea who you are. Maybe they did a little bit of research on the website. Maybe they didn't. And so what I would say is something like, hey, just to give you a little bit of an idea about who we are, 3 bullet points. Scroll back up, Carlos. I would say, number 1, we're local. Mm-hmm. Number 2, we're people focused. We're not property focused. And number 3, we're a verified cash buyer. We actually have the cash to close on this property, and we're ready to help you out. Mm-hmm. Not every investor can say that. So I might say a quick little bullet points about like who you are. And then maybe you could riff on, hey, if you want to learn more about who we are, what we stand for, check out the About page on our website. I'd love, where you can get to know everybody on our team. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say something like that, and maybe include one of those little headshots in the emails so that they're like, okay,
love that.
This is Mike. He's actually in my market. And maybe even put your business address in there too. I don't know. I just feel like if people see it on a map or they see the address, like, oh, that guy's like right down the street. Because seeing that, like a headshot and address is just totally different feel than just random company you submitted your lead info into online.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. And dude, having you go through these sites, you're going to be the one giving me more ideas than I even thought about for the longer term follow up. You can pretty much, like, these really good quality sites that we've pulled up, like, now I'm thinking out loud, you can really go through the entire site and just take portions of that and put your messaging in those drip campaigns.
Yeah. So we know that the About Us page on a website is the second most visited page, only second to the homepage. So when people land on a website, they're going to look at the top of the page, probably submit their info, maybe scroll down a little bit, do a little bit of browsing. But if they do kind of go down that research rabbit hole, they're going to your About page. And then I think it would probably be the How It Works page. But we want to assume that we don't want to make the assumption that they've read everything or they know about us. We want to assume
Exactly.
the opposite. Exactly.
And
So,
dude, there's a psychological element too, like the amount of times somebody see your branding or your message before they're actually ready to buy with you or work with you on something.
yeah. Even if they have read it, it's like, seeing it a couple more times makes it sticky, makes it stick in their mind. And so if you scroll back up, he probably has a How It Works page at the top of his site.
Let's
I
see.
think Mike does. Should be, because that's pretty integral to Carrot. Yeah, How It
Yeah.
Works. So
I
maybe,
personally love this for the autoresponder.
oh yeah. So maybe you have a subject line that's like, the most common question we get from sellers, or the most common question we get from homeowners, and that kind of opens their curiosity. It's like, okay, what are people asking them, or like the biggest concern from homeowners? That's kind of creating that open loop in their head. I don't want to get too deep into like email or copywriting. But then in the email, you could say, hey, we get this question all the time from people looking to sell their house. What's the biggest difference between working with one of these We Buy Houses companies or a cash offer company versus an agent? Are you guys legit? Is this a scam? I just
Good
wanted to
positioning.
tell you the biggest differences and give you a quick rundown of how our process works, because we believe in being transparent about the whole process from start to finish. And then you could just link out to this page in the email. Click here if you want to learn more. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Shoot me a text if you want to get in touch.
100%.
I mean,
100%.
because there's a good chance, like, sometimes we think that like a seller's ghosting you. They might not be ghosting you. They might just like, they don't want to respond. Maybe they're just like waiting to see, are you serious? Are they legitimate? They need some more convincing before they even reach back out to you.
Or it's not the right time. Oftentimes it's not the right time. But psychologically, they're going to remember that. And if you stay in front of them, and again, guys, I get so passionate about just simple thing that's automated and high leverage. So that's the beautiful thing. As you have these sequence templates just built out and saved, which I'll show you where those go in Carrot CRM, you're just working a lead and you're choosing if you want to put a certain seller lead on this particular messaging. So yeah, a lot of times it just may not be the right time. It's the right message, but you got to hit them at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's pull up. So that's one idea. You could send them to the About page. You could send them to the How It Works page. Let's pull up Laurel Buys Houses. Oh, I was going to say reviews. You could send a reviews page as well.
Well, that's another one I was thinking too. And guys, we're going to show you all this in the sequence. We have an amazing training team as well. So if you guys have Carrot CRM, if you're above the free level, you get access to onboarding, training, everything like that. So we're over your shoulder helping you set these up. But we're going to preview and show you on this call today too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brady, I do love the reviews as well. Hey, just in case you're curious of what other people have said working with us, check out our review page online.
Yeah. And if you want to get real serious about it, you get to be sending out case studies. I know some people will put like a little case study or a short blog post about a flip they did or how they helped someone. Hey, we were just able to help John. He's actually not too far away from you in San Antonio, whatever. We were able to make him a fair offer on his house, get him out fast, and maybe not get him out fast, get him into a new home, get rid of his headaches, and we were able to help beautify the neighborhood. I don't know. Yeah. Some little story.
ebook I mentioned earlier, that's like automatic. Authority, credibility, all that stuff is really, really solid. Do you want me to check out anywhere here specifically, Brady, on Laurel's site, the reviews, or anywhere specific?
Yeah, so we've shared this before. Scroll down just a little bit to the book section. Laurel Buys Houses has, her and her team are in Sacramento. They do next level. They've been investing for a long time, been Carrot members for almost a decade, which is wild.
Wow.
And Carrot site is still just cranking, getting leads. But they've actually created books. And so they have books specific to seller situations. So they have a book on hoarding and how to help someone that's stuck in a hoarder situation, but it's actually geared towards the families and friends of a hoarder on how to help them navigate that situation, how to help get them out of a house and into a better situation. They have a book on, what is this, private lending roadmap, it looks like, and then your next move. I think that's their senior transition book, I think.
Yeah,
Too
older
small.
adults.
Yeah, for older adults. Yeah, it's like senior transitioning. And so you could just have a really simple email that says something like, hey, we actually put out a book or ebook recently on how to help people transition from, you know, out of hoarder homes or out. And you could really get into the weeds. Like if they filled out a form on a hoarder page on your website or clicked on a certain type of ad, you could have a sequence for that. So you could say, hey, we just put out a book on helping people do XYZ. Would you like a copy of it? You know, and just leave it at that. If they
Yeah.
want a copy of it, just tell them, hey, email me back and let me know if you want a copy. I'll send one to you.
Yeah.
And then if they respond, you could send them the form. I'm sure there's a way to automate that too. Like if they reply, then send them the link to this form, because they have a form on their website. You just fill out and they'll email a copy of the book. But to me, that's like next level. And I know that for a lot of people, it's like, oh, this is too much. But I just want to get your creative juices flowing and show you what investors are doing who are serious about this, who are in this for the long term, and who are really helping out their communities, not just trying to close another deal or two. They're closing
100%.
multiple deals a month consistently.
100%. I'm just going to say too, the credibility on this site's, I mean, if I had a house, I would sell it to Laurel. Just seeing like this credibility here with all the different HGTV, Urban Renaissance Home Tour, Fox, CBS, NBC, and then multiple books underneath here. That's crazy credibility, guys. Can I click here to check out? I'm just curious what this.
Yeah, this is the form I was talking about. And so you could have in the follow-up campaign, you could send them a link to this and say, hey, you know, come get your book here. You know, if they replied to your email and said, yeah, I love a copy of the book, then the next email would be, hey, awesome, so glad you want a copy. Just fill out this quick form so I know where to send it to, and we'll get you a copy shipped out.
Awesome. And I do just want to have this, let's say, long-term follow-up. I do want to have this pulled up, and we'll go back and forth just so you guys are getting a little bit of a visual while we're going through this. But this is actually, guys, where you would go in and program these different links. So we have a long-term, we have an offer follow-up, and a can't reach. I'll pop over to the can't reach. So this is the one that's 8 text messages over the first 98 days of when you choose to put that person on a sequence. So again, this is perfect stuff that you could put in here. Message right away.
So
Day 3.
I'll kind of give you the reins so you can break this down, Carlos, but I just want to pause real quick and let people know
Sure.
what we're looking at. So this column on the left, not the far left, the far left is just kind of the interface, but yeah, the column Carlos is in, this is the sequence. So the sequence is a series or a set of emails and texts going out to someone.
Correct.
And so basically you're saying once a lead has filled out their info, I'm going to put them into this sequence. Or you could say after a certain amount of days, they're going to go into this sequence. You could set different criteria, but we're just going email by email, all the different contexts that they're going to get.
Yeah. And I'm actually going to pop over to a lead really quick, Brady, if that's cool.
Yeah.
That's just an option that you have when you're working a lead. So let's say this lead came in here. You can see the property address, the seller's contact information.
Tom Brady wants to sell you his house. This is a big deal.
It is. He's moving. He's relocating to Florida.
This could be your big break.
I know. But you get a Google Map, Google Image. Yeah, he lives right here on the Canton waterfront. You're able to see a Zillow link that you click that'll pop open automatically. You can see where the lead came from. You can see some really cool property data. All this stuff so far outside the auto response, this is all in free Carrot CRM. So if you guys are watching this, don't have Carrot free CRM, get an account, sign up right there. It's just to pop in and you can, see how this works yourself. Pulls in really good property data. So we can see the APN, estimated ARV. It looks like this is paid off. So a ton of equity here. This would be depending on your negotiation and their situation, a great wholesale deal. 0 left on the balance, 0 mortgage payment. So you can see a lot of cool stuff here. When you're working this lead here, though, this is where you would actually choose if you want to put them on some type of follow-up sequence. So let's fast forward. Maybe you call them 2-3 times a day. The first couple days the lead comes in, they're just not responding. I would actually consider coming in here, telling Carrot CRM, hey, I wasn't actually able to get a hold of the seller. Carrot CRM is always going to make suggestions based off what happened. So you can either roll with that suggestion and it will just efficiently take you down essentially through your follow-up calls or what you need to be doing with sellers. However, at any time you can pop in here and choose whatever you want to do. So just to paint the picture fully for you guys, I'm going to hit place and follow-up sequence. And then here's where I would choose those templates.
I'm curious, go back up to this list real quick. I love this because if you're newer to like organized follow-up, I think this is really good. So it's going to suggest the next thing. And this, let's see, the actions that we have in Carrot CRM. You have call new lead, second call attempt, a follow-up with the seller. You got your due diligence, schedule an appointment, record a verbal offer, send a contract, place in follow-up sequence, outsource to a realtor, follow up with a realtor, or mark as dead. If you're trying to mentally keep track of all those for 10 different leads, that's exhausting. That's the thing I love, is just you can really clearly see where each lead is at in your pipeline specifically, not just follow up. Yeah.
100%. 100%. In addition to that was a good breakdown, Brady. In addition to these, you guys can also add in custom actions. If you guys have something outside of kind of a general, we want to give you like the bone structure skeleton, works really, really well, but you guys can also save your own custom actions in here. And just to paint the picture fully for you guys, anytime you want to put them on some type of automated list of text and email, free Carrot CRM, anything that you upgrade to, you also get ringless voicemails and really, really good direct mail pieces with Print Genie at no additional cost. You're paying for the mail piece, but Andy over there hooked it up with free membership for us. So you're able to put them, and here's where you're selecting the sequence template that you want to put them on. So I think of that as any seller lead scenario you come across that you want to automate some follow-up. So that can't reach, that's where we were at earlier. I hit complete action here, and then whatever I have in that sequence, it's going to fire off. The cool thing is the opportunity owner feature. If that seller tries to get back in touch with you, call, text, or email, the sequence will automatically pause and this person gets notified. So Investor Fuse puts you in a really good position to have quality conversation at those two highest points of leverage. When a lead first comes in for marketing, and then anytime an existing lead in your Carrot CRM tries to get back in touch with you, which is really, really powerful. It's simple and really, really powerful.
I like that.
Yeah, man. Let me pop back over to Can't Reach. And then I just wanted to give you guys like a little picture of where this stuff is going. So this is default. We hook you guys up with it. I do want to like just add in some steps here, and we'll show you how you guys can like at least what it looks like when you add in from the Carrot site. So what do you think? We could take, let's go to Laurel's.
I kind of cut you off when you were going through the sequence. We could just break down the sequence real quick and just show them kind of what that, I'd love to look at what that email sequence looked like.
Yeah.
So you were in actions. You just, let's say you had a lead reach out to you, or you had a lead that you've been trying to get a hold of and you can't get a hold of them.
Yeah.
Now you're saying, okay, I'm done doing manual follow-up for a bit. I'm going to put them into this can't reach sequence and automate my follow-up from here on out.
100%. And think of opportunity cost with your time, guys. Like if those leads aren't responding and you're genuinely hitting them up with calls multiple times a day the first few days and they're just not getting back to you, consider automating that follow-up, and you can spend your time elsewhere on other leads, other opportunities, checking out training, getting more educated, specialized knowledge, stuff like this. But we make it really, really easy for you. So this default sequence, if you pop that off, the can't reach, like I mentioned, 8 or 9 different texts, 8 texts over the first 98 days. This copy's all in here. You know, it says stuff like this: last time trying to contact you for the house. What you guys are doing, or we suggest doing, is going in here and adding additional steps or editing the existing ones in here. So today I just wanted to show you what that might look like. So let's say day 90 or day 100. You can have this send 100 days after you choose to put them on a sequence. And again, you could do these earlier too, just giving an example here. Here's where you go to actions. On free Carrot CRM, you're going to have text in emails. Anything above free, you're also going to have the ability to drop a ringless voicemail in there. You can send direct mail with Print Genie. So we were talking before we went live too, like how powerful that is, like especially if it's a direct mail lead or they got to your site from direct mail, hitting them back with the same form of communication right from the platform. You can do custom tasks as well. So if you want to schedule like a manual follow-up call every 30, 45 days, you could totally do that as well. But let's go ahead and hit them with an email since we have a lot of text in here. You can save your own templates. So if you want to have like canned responses, you can go ahead and do that. But let's do a subject. Let's say,
why did you leave me?
how we help sellers move on. Let's say that.
I like doing song lyrics on the subject line. I'm weird.
I like that.
I think
That's creative. Well, you're a music guy too.
yeah.
Hello, first name. Let's just, I'm not going to type out this whole thing, but hello, first name. We spoke about a property a few months back. I just wanted to touch base and let you know this is actually how we help sellers move on to different properties we were talking about. And again, guys, this is like massive, really, really going all out with trust, credibility is doing like a book. But we could take this link here. Let's say, hey, just want to let you know, we actually help a lot of people move on to different properties. If you were interested in reading our book, or, if you said this was Laura or whatever, if you're interested in reading my book, here's a link here that you could throw in, free copy of the book, however you want to say that. Let me go, here's a free link to the book. We'll just pop that right in there. Bam. So I'll link them right to the book. You can customize the time. Let's say 9:52 a.m. We're good there. Let's add a step to the queue. So this is something that I do to help just get response. So what's that called? How we help sellers move on. This is internal, how we help sellers move on. I'm going to say text. We're going to say send a text message. We're going to say day 100. And we're just going to go 2 minutes after that. 9:54 a.m. the very same day, guys. So this seller is going to get an email from you, pretty much just educational. Hey, we spoke a few months ago about a property. We actually help a lot of sellers move on to different properties. Here's our book in case you want to check it out. And then a text 2 minutes later. Hey, first name. Again, this is Carlos. I just emailed you our book that we have on providing solutions to sellers. If you had any interest, and you guys put your own spin on it, like Brady and I have been talking about.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'd say, hey, just want to make sure you got this. I have good success with that. Like, just want to make sure you got this, or did you get it? Because then it goes from, oh, they're just trying to get a hold of me, like, oh, he thinks that I haven't seen any of this. Like, right. I need to let him know I'm here.
I like that.
Yeah, did you get my email? Just making sure. Yeah, that's perfect.
I like that a lot. So yeah, something as simple as that. I do like stacking up messages too, just one right after the other. On the upgraded plans too, something I often set up will be like a ringless voicemail, and you leave it general without saying their name. Hey, good morning. This is Carlos. I'm followed up on a property, whatever you want to say in that message. And then 2 minutes later, a text message. Hey, I just left a voicemail with you. There, you can pull in a first name. Hey, John, this is Carlos. I just left you a voicemail. Let me know if you're able to hop on the phone today. I was just curious what your situation is with selling the house, and if we can help, stuff like that. So add step to queue here. We make it super, super simple. You choose what action that you want to do. Voicemail, you're just able to actually just upload a .wav file, which is really, really simple.
That's awesome. So you could just literally pull out your cell phone. If you have an iPhone, pull up your, whatchamacallit, like audio recording app, record a message, send it to your computer, put it here.
Exactly.
Upload the file.
100%, man. And then you're also able to send via direct mail. If you guys just go to Print Genie, I believe it's printgenie.io. If you go over there, you can check out, they have a ton of different mail pieces, and we made it as simple, and Andy hooked it up without needing like a subscription over there. So you're just able to send direct mail at cost, 50 cents, $1, depending on it's an envelope, the type of piece. We're not adding any margin or upselling you guys on that. We just want to make sure that you guys have the most simple and robust and effective follow-up to help these sellers out. So you can actually just pick a direct mail piece right on there and drop the link in here. and then just come down here and save it. So Brady,
That's
I'm getting
awesome.
fired up, man. I love high leverage and making sure every single lead is getting hit up with the wording that you want. And you guys already have the Carrot sites there. Use them as a sales tool.
Yeah, this is awesome. No, this is good stuff, man. I feel like that's probably a good stopping point. I know a lot of this for some of you, if you haven't done any follow up or if you're not even using a CRM, this might go over your heads. And I know some of you are a few steps above this. So, like, if you haven't used a CRM, if you don't have follow up in place, like, don't get discouraged. Just get in, get familiar with it, and get your autoresponder set up. Get the autoresponder set up and maybe get one sequence, one campaign in place. I would just focus on that. Like, you don't need to get into the weeds yet, but I just wanted you guys to have the creative ideas of knowing how you should be talking to people in your follow-up, how to keep it human, how to keep it relatable, and how to actually build trust with people instead of bugging them. I think that's just the biggest thing. Speed to lead and be helpful, stay top of mind, and you'll do pretty well. And, we're going to help you automate it with the CRM. So,
Love it, man.
Yeah, that's about all I got for today. That's all I got for today. I feel like that was really good. A quick note: we still have about 3 spots left for Carrot Camp. This is our last Carrot Camp that we're doing. It's gone really well. I think we're like our 14th, 15th Carrot Camp that we've done.
Wow.
But it's our in-person mastermind here at Carrot HQ. So if you want to come hang out with Trevor, myself, the Carrot team, and some really high-level investors that are doing multiple deals a month, put in an application, carrot.com/camp. We got 3 spots left. I'd love to see you out here and get to connect in person. It's by far my favorite thing we do all year at Carrot. It's great to connect with investors. So check it out. If you guys have any questions at all, let us know. Feel free to shoot me an email, brady@carrot.com, or just let us know in the chat in the Facebook group. And other than that, we will see you guys next week back here at 11 a.m. Pacific. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Take it easy, guys.